And what it do, folks? It's your boy, Charles Yoga, and thank you for tuning in to Maryland Terrapins Live on the Voice of College Football. And I am really excited to start my focus on the 2023 season. First off, I am in the process of getting some new imaging together for the show, which means a brand new open and close with new music for the show, new promoted segments featured weekly. I want to have a guest every week to talk about Maryland athletics, and I plan to be on site for as many Terps games as possible and possibly performing a live broadcast during the games. And on a side note, it is March Madness. Your boy's been checking in on his brackets. Brackets are not that great, but I did hit on a couple upsets yesterday on the DK. Yesterday, I had a silly little $3 bet that ended up paying out. What was the payout here? Let me bring it up for you guys real quick. $415.59. I took the money line on TCU, the money line on High Point, the money line on VCU, the money line on Texas, and then St. Louis did me proud, closing out my blue parlay, blowing out the Georgia Bulldogs 102-77, which was a plus 13,753 odds. So $3 paid out $415.59. Now I know my luck. If I would put more money on it, that would have not happened. But I am happy with the 415. I withdrew that immediately because your boys got some bills to pay, and that is going to help pay those bills. And you can watch Maryland Terrapins Live on your favorite audio platform. You can catch Maryland. You can't watch it on an audio platform. What are you doing? You can catch Maryland Terrapins Live on your favorite audio platform, including Apple, Amazon, Google, and Spotify. The Voice of College Football is all new on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Join our ongoing conversation with you about the game we love. There is no off season. We encourage you, our hosts, to interact with our conversation starters on X. Now, like I said, today's show is going to be lightly scheduled due to the fact that it is March Madness and there's not much new news coming from College Park. So today, I'm on check in a little bit with some March Madness and tournament basketball going on. At 3 p.m., the Maryland Terrapins women's basketball team tips off against Murray State in the first round of the women's NC2A basketball tournament. We'll do some live game check-ins. I want to talk about both tournaments since it is March Madness. Practice squad for Maryland football begins this week, and I plan to be there to see how our new recruits firsthand. And also, last week we gave a little quick preview of games 1 through 4. Today I want to talk about games 5 through 8, and we want to talk a little bit about the potential depth chart for the Maryland Terrapins. And once again, you can catch Maryland Terrapins Live on your favorite audio platform, including Apple, Amazon, Google, and Spotify. The Voice of College Football is all new on X, Twitter. Join our ongoing conversation with you about the game we all love. There is no off season. We encourage you, our hosts, to interact with our conversation starters on X. And on that note, let us key up what we talk about on our first down, and that is spring practice. Maryland's spring practice begins. That will be on March 24th. And it concludes around April 25th with the spring game on the 26th, I believe. Coaches Academy is a flag football coaches academy scheduled from April 9th to 11th at Jones Hill House, featuring opportunities for attendees to observe spring practice, position meetings, and a scrimmage. There's a roster focus. The team is highlighting the development of young talent, including quarterback Malik Washington, running back DeJuan Williams, and defenders Sidney Stewart and Zahir Mathis. There's the offensive focus of new offensive coordinator Clint Trickett is tasked with balancing an offense that struggled in the past. The schedule in 2026, the schedule features home games against Virginia Tech, UCLA, with challenging road trips to Ohio State and Nebraska. We have expectations following a difficult 2025, where we started 4-0, lost 8 consecutive games to finish the season to finish 4-8, and 2026 might be considered a pivotal or make or break season for Coach Loxley. Now, like I said, spring practice does begin on March 24th. And if you're looking at your Google Calendar, March 24th is this upcoming Tuesday. I hope to be there. If not, my tag team partner, Mark Gray, will be at spring practice with getting you some of the best interviews from some of the active players. So, like I said, March 24th, spring camp opens, and we will see some of our fantastic new recruits, including one of the top recruits in Maryland, in the state of Maryland, in the nation, and Zion Ely. So today, what we want to talk about is, let's see, let me check out my depth chart here. We'll talk about the depth chart in a little bit, but we are going to be. Oh, just we don't have the Mark Rogers video uploaded here, but I will have that for you momentarily. Like I said, we want to have to talk about this spring practice. Like I said, this defense is going to be vastly improved with the likes of Zion Ellie, who will join some beasts on defense, including Sidney Stewart at left defensive end, Zahir Mathis at right defensive end, Trey Reddick at the will linebacker, Daniel Wingate at the mic, and you're going to have guys such as Levon Johnson at tackle, Ian Thomas at the other tackle. We will have Jameer Lasker, left corner, Le'Veon Scruggs at safety, Messiah Delholm at free safety, Amari Jackson at right corner, and nickelback will be Dante Jordan. One of the positives we have returning is Sean LaHair, the kicker, who was a transfer from Richmond, who has the leg. He kind of reminds me, if you've ever seen the movie The Replacements, he reminds me of the kicker from The Replacements. He's wiry, got a good leg, and that's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this offense. Also, I want to also add that Mark Rogers will be doing a category of all-time Big Ten, where he will be talking about guys such as where each school ranks in the all-time history of Big Ten play. Obviously, schools like Nebraska, USC, Washington, UCLA, Oregon, Maryland, and Rutgers won't have the numbers as the rest, as they've all joined the conference in recent years. So those numbers might be skewed, but he'll be focusing on the historic big dogs such as Michigan, Ohio State, Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan State, Northwestern, Purdue, Penn State, and Indiana. Indiana, again, coming off that miraculous season last year, that storybook finish to last season of finishing season undefeated and win the national championship with the Heisman Trophy winner, who might be the number one pick overall by the Oakland Raiders. So you go from a winning franchise such as Indiana to a losing franchise such as the Oakland Raiders. Feel sorry for your player. Feel sorry for your player, but I'm going to take a quick little break, and when I come back, we are going to be talking about the Terps who performed at the Combine right after this. And I am back. And this is Maryland Terrapins Live on the Voice of College Football. I am your host, Charles Jonga, and we will be talking more about Maryland Terps at the Combine. But first, I want to remind you that you can catch Maryland Terrapins Live on your favorite audio platform, including Apple, Amazon, Google, and Spotify. The Voice of College Football is all new on Twitter. I'm not going to say X anymore. I hate that term. It's on all new on Twitter. Join our ongoing conversation with you about the game we all love. There is no off season. We encourage you and our hosts to interact with our conversation starters on Twitter. So now let's go next to what I'm going to talk about, and that is Terps at the Combine. And two significant Maryland Terrapins made their appearance at the Combine. The Combine happened way back in February, but due to me not having my show as regularly as I wanted to, I did not get the chance to basically cover it as like I wanted to. And the two guys who performed at the Combine are offensive lineman Alan Heron, who stood 6 foot, measured in at 6'5", 305 pounds. He competed in the drills, including he had a 5.09 40-yard dash and a 1.8 second 10-yard split with a 32-inch vertical jump. He earned a 5.67 prospect grade, which characterizes as a candidate for the bottom of a roster of a practice squad. Not what you would consider. He might not be drafted. He might make it. He might become a undrafted free agent, sign on with a team somewhere, hopefully in 2026, and get the opportunity to at least show his skills. He might have a chance throughout the offseason to increase his stock through pro days, through workouts. He might be able to bulk up a little bit. He might be able to get a little stronger, a little faster. Increase that prospect grade to somewhere maybe around 6, where that means he will be possibly drafted in the 2026 draft. Also, Jalen Husky, who measured in at 6'1" and 196 pounds, participated in all activities except the 4-yard dash. He plans to go to Maryland's Pro Day, which we will find out that day soon. His grade was a 5.83, which is defined as an average, backup, or special teamer. Again, he'll have time throughout the off season to increase his stock, get stronger, get faster, etc., in order to increase his stock to a 6 to possibly be a legit player for an NFL team. Like I said, both players look to build on their performance following their careers at Maryland. Alan Heron had previously started 24 games at right tackle, and Jalen Husky has been a significant part of the Maryland Terrapins secondary as a cornerback and as a safety last year in his senior year. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about Maryland football as we preview games 5 through 8. This is going to be interesting because games 5 through 8 are where we get to the meat of the schedule. It's where a lot of in history of the last few years under Coach Loxley, where the team has struggled, or the struggle has began in Game 5 after starting anywhere from 4-0 to 3-1 the first month of the season until you get to the month of October, when it's like, we stink again. So when I come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about this Maryland schedule and see what happens with the Maryland Terrapins when we come back. Right here on the Voice of College Football. I am Charles Younger. This is Maryland Terrapins Live. And we are back, and I am Charles Younger here on the Maryland Terrapins Live on the Voice of College Football. You can catch Maryland Terrapins Live on your favorite audio platform, including Apple, Amazon, Google, and Spotify. The Voice of College Football is all new on Twitter. Join our ongoing conversation with you about the game we all love. There is no off season. We encourage you and our hosts to interact with our conversation starters on Twitter. X, Twitter. I just can't say X. It just doesn't sound, it just doesn't seem right. It does not seem right. Okay. Now, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about Maryland Terrapins games 5 through 8. Last week I talked about the first 4 games, which are at home against Hampton, HU. That's not the issue, the other issue. UConn, Virginia Tech, and UCLA. We will start game 5, which is on the road in Lincoln, Nebraska, against obviously the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska last year, it was quite ugly how this team had a lead on this team. The Maryland Terrapins had a lead on this team in the fourth quarter and somehow decided to, you know what? We don't want to play football anymore. We want to blow this game because we don't like playing football anymore. We don't want to, you know, we don't want to win. History all time matchup. Maryland has 1 win and 3 losses. Last game they played, Nebraska won 34-31. If you look at the stats, it was pretty interesting. Nebraska took a 7-0 lead in the first, and then a shootout in the second quarter. Both teams scored 17 points. Maryland scored 14 points in the third, and then gave up 10 in the fourth to blow a fourth quarter lead, leading to the team's basically one of the downfall last year of their terrible second half of the game. And then next we travel to Columbus, Ohio, where we play the Ohio State University. And the last matchup was on October 7th, 2023, where the Ohio State University defeated the Maryland Terrapins 37-17. I remember this game because I believe I was in North Carolina listening to the game on the radio. And I remember seeing, oh, Maryland's up 10-0 on Ohio State. What the heck? And then that's when the wheels fell off as Ohio State scored 10 in the second, 10 in the third, 17 in the fourth to defeat the Maryland Terrapins by 20. Maryland has never defeated Ohio State, 0-9. Obviously, 0-4 at home, 0-5 on the road. The first time they were played was in 2014, where Maryland only lost 52-24. If you want to look at some of the games in the history, one of the closest games they've ever played was around my birthday in 2018, when at then called Capital One Field at Maryland Stadium, in overtime they lost 52-51, which was, I remember that game fondly because I believe that was a McFadden game. Let me bring up the box score of that game because that was one of the most McFarland, excuse me, not McFadden, McFarland game. That game was quite ridiculous because Anthony McFarland had 298 yards of rushing in that game. What a performance! Unfortunately, he has not performed that well at the next level, but the man was a pretty good football player for Maryland. Now, could Jawad Williams become Anthony McFarland? Could he somehow perform like that and against Ohio State, putting up nearly 300 yards of offense. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But Ohio State is a perennial top 5 team. And we just hope that Maryland does not embarrass themselves and keeps it close and somehow competitive. And then up next, we got the mighty, mighty Rutgers. Rutgers University. They come into CQ Stadium on October 17th. If you want to take a look at the history of these two schools, Maryland has 12 wins to 9 losses against Rutgers. And the last game, Rutgers defeated Maryland 35-20. Again, Maryland takes the early lead and somehow decides to not want to play football the rest of the game. Maryland scores 7 points in the first, 10 in the second, but Rutgers scores 21 in the second, 7 in the third, and 7 in the fourth for a 35-20 victory. In that game, we saw it was in Piscataway, New Jersey, where we saw Maryland have, excuse me, we saw Rutgers wide receivers who had 3 wide receivers who are like 6'3" or bigger destroyed the Maryland secondary. It was quite embarrassing because the fact that let me look at the some of the numbers here. It's a Maryland scoring summary. Let me find the yeah, sorry. Don't have the scoring summary for Rutgers, but it was quite embarrassing. Malik Washington in that game, only 98 yards passing, a touchdown, interception, and he was sacked quite a few times. He was sacked. No, he actually wasn't sacked today. That line was pretty good. Athen Kalikamanis torched us for 4 touchdowns. Ian Strong, DJ Cuff, Ian Strong had 3 touchdowns against us. KJ Duff, 69 yards. DT Sheffield, 56 yards. Compared to our receivers who were like 4 catches for 39 yards, Darian Fleming, 1 catch, Caleb Webb, 2 catches, Salik Knox, 3 catches, Jalen Fruit, 3 catches, Jamal Williams, 1 catch for Octavius Smith. You're not going to be able to win too many games when you don't move the ball down the field. And the next game is going to be interesting because we're playing the Illinois Fighting Illini at CQ Stadium on Halloween night. And Halloween night at CQ Stadium. History between these two schools: 2-2. 2 games, obviously 1-1 home and away record for both teams. First time they played each other, Maryland won 63-33. In the last game, Maryland did not do much of anything as Illinois scored 24 points to Maryland's 6 points. Maryland only scored 2 field goals by Sean O'Hare and was shut out of the end zone the entire game. And it's pretty pathetic how poorly this team played in that game when they had the opportunity to somehow bounce back and fight. At the time they were 4-5. They could, hey, let's get back to 5. They ended up going. There were times they were 4-4. They could have been, hey, let's get back on track and try to get a win here at Illinois. But again, like I said, the boys decided to not want to show up. And when I come back, I want to talk a little bit about our depth chart moving forward and seeing what we have to look forward to when it comes to Maryland football right here on Maryland Terrapins Live at the Voice of College Football. Like I said, I am your host, Charles Younger, and stay tuned. We will be right back after this. And we are back here on Maryland Terrapins Live at the Voice of College Football. I am your host, Charles Younger. And again, one more time, you can follow me at across all social media at Charles Younger, that's CharlesNyonga. And please, you can catch Maryland Terrapins Live on your favorite audio platform, including Apple, Amazon, Google, and Spotify. The Voice of College Football is all new on Twitter. Join our ongoing conversation with join our ongoing conversation with you about the game we love. There is no off season. We encourage you, our hosts, to interact with our conversation on X. And also, I want to bring up the fact that our leader, Mark Rogers, has compiled all-time numbers in 24 categories for the all-time Big Big Ten conference team. He covers stats such as when membership began, total number of titles, total seasons, outright titles, win percentage, AP ranks, AP weeks at number one, bowl wins, major wins, Big Ten win percentage, the modern era, which is post 1970, post 2000, and in the college football playoff era. How many top 25s, top 10s, top fives, and etc. How many Heisman's, how many awards, total awards, how many All Americans, NFL draft, how many first round draft picks from each school in the Big Ten. For example, how many first round picks has Ohio State had since since the Big Ten was founded, which is 95. I guess this number is skewed for USC because they weren't always in the Big Ten, but they've had 86 first round draft picks. Michigan has had, let's just stick with the Big Ten OGs. Michigan, 55 first round picks. Penn State, 44 first round picks. Michigan State, 36 first round picks. Wisconsin, 30 first round picks. Iowa, 26 first round picks. Illinois, 23 first round picks. Purdue, 22, surprisingly. Minnesota, 18. Indiana, 12. Northwestern, 11. And on a side note, Rutgers way in the back at 3 first round draft picks. So stay tuned because Mark Rogers will have a phenomenal show about the all conference team, all conference numbers. When he produces that, stay tuned to us here at Maryland Terrapins Live. We will have you updated and keep you abreast of all of those as they come along. And today we're going to finish up talking about the Maryland depth chart. Okay. As of right now, I don't have the full complete depth chart. I just have a preemptive depth chart of what we might see. Let's start on the offense. We do have under center Malik Washington, sophomore. Tight end Dorian Fleming, redshirt junior. We also have DeJuan Williams at tailback. We'll have Caleb Webb stepping up as well as the X receiver, transfer Naeem Abdurrahim Galding at the Z, and Chris Durr Jr. at the slot. Rachel Perry returns as senior at left tackle. Isaiah Wright returns as a graduate student at left guard. Michael Hershey, young blood from Pennsylvania, is returning as a junior center. Tariq Lockett is a redshirt senior. He's a transfer coming in. And Carlos Moore is a redshirt senior filling in at right tackle. Defense, we have Sidney Stewart starting at left end. Evan Thomas, a sophomore, excuse me. Ian Thomas, a redshirt junior at left tackle. Levon Johnson, redshirt senior transfer, at right tackle. Tahir Mathis, sophomore at right end. The will linebacker again is Trey Reddick. The Mike linebacker is going to be Daniel Wingate. We also have Jermaine Gasker at left corner. Le'Veon Scruggs at safety. Messiah DeHome at free safety. Amari Jackson at right corner, and Dante Jr. at nickelback. Bryce McPherson is the starting punter. Place kicker is going to be Sean O'Hare, both returning from last year. Kickoff specialist is Philip Knowles. Long snapper is going to be Luke O'Hare. I'm not sure if it's no relation to Sean O'Hare because names are spelled differently. Holder is going to be Bryce McPherson, the punter. Punt return is going to be Ricardo Cooper Jr., and kick return is going to be Iverson Howard. So this is going to be a young team. There are some veteran leaders, like I said, with Caleb Webb at redshirt senior at wide receiver. There's going to be, uh, Abdul Rahim Golden at receiver as a junior. Chris Durr is a junior. The line looks pretty solid. It's veteran line. We have two seniors on the edge, two seniors on the outside protecting Malik's blind side. You have a couple of senior and two juniors in the middle. I'm sorry, you have two seniors and two juniors in the middle, and you have some depth behind them with some freshmen and some transfers. So this team is looking to be somewhat competitive, trying to somehow build around this young quarterback in Malik Washington, and there is a new offensive coordinator taking over from Pep Hamilton, and his name is, I had it right here and lost it. We do have a new offensive coordinator. Why did I just lose the offensive coordinator? Let me bring it up for you because I just had his name and then computer is lost. We get locked up and I lost his name. So let's bring up his name here. Maryland football offensive coordinator Clint Trickett is the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for the Maryland Terrapins. Joined the program in February 2006, replaced Pepper Hamilton, who moved into a senior advisory role after one season. Trickett brings experience from his previous role as offensive coordinator at Jacksonville State. He was hired as the OCQB's coach in February 26. Prior to Maryland, he spent 25 seasons at Jacksonville State, where he led the offense that averaged around 408 yards per game and ranked in the top 5 nationally in rushing, which is what we need because we could not run the ball worth a daggone last season. He also coached at Arkansas, Marshall, and Georgia Southern, often working with quarterbacks and tight ends. He was a quarterback at Florida State and West Virginia. So hopefully they're going to switch the offensive play scheme to be more of a balance where we don't have to have all of the pressure put on Malik Washington. And on that note, we'll do one more quick break, and I want to give my final thoughts here on Maryland Terrapins Live at the Voice of College Football. I am Charles Junka, and I'll be right back. And we're back here on Maryland Terrapins Live on the Voice of College Football. I am your host, Charles Junga, and you can catch Maryland Terrapins Live on your favorite audio platform, including Apple, Amazon, Google, and Spotify. The Voice of College Football is all new on Twitter. Join our ongoing conversation about the game we all love. There is no off season. We also encourage you, our hosts, to interact with our conversation stars on X. And on that note, the show is going to be, like I said, a little light in the butt because it has been not the most newsworthy. We got some commentators here. Michigan there 1212 says, "Hey, how you doing, man?" I said, "I'm doing fantastic." Like, no, we got cooking in Maryland. Okay, if you're listening, just tuning in, I see you commented around 3 p.m. We have a few things cooking in Maryland. We do have a phenomenal young quarterback in Malik Washington, and we have a brand new offensive coordinator in Clint Trickett, who is going to hopefully bring out the best in Malik. If you were listening earlier, like I said, Clint Trickett took over as quarterback coach at Arkansas before joining the Terrapins. He spent 2025 as offensive coordinator at Jacksonville State, helping the Gamecocks to a 9-5 record with a salute to veterans bowl victory. The former Florida State quarterback and Florida State and West Virginia quarterback is one of the best offenses in Conference USA, averaging 408 yards per game, ranking third in the league, scoring 28.1 points a game, which ranked fifth. So that's what we got cooking at Maryland. And don't be mad at the Michigan Voice of College Football because they're doing their own thing there. And luckily we don't have to play them this year. So, but we do have to play Ohio State, and we will be cooking with uh, cooking with gas here in College Park when the season starts. Like I said, college football is back. Spring practice starts this week for Maryland on the 24th, which is a Tuesday. If I won't be there, my tag team partner Mark Gray will be there, getting some insights from the new recruits with some of the transfers. We want to hear firsthand from guys like Zion Ellie. We want to hear from Malik Washington, understudy. We want to hear from Coach Loxley because this is going to be a make or break season for Coach. Back-to-back 4-8 seasons is not going to cut it, partner. I'm letting you know right now. You're going to have to do something special this year. I'm not saying you have to go undefeated. I'm not saying you have to do what Indiana did. You're going to have to do something where it's like, okay, I see what's happening here. I see the deal. I see the vision. I see the future. AD James James Smith, I need you to open up that checkbook, homie. You know, you got to pay some people. You got to pay to play, and you got to pay if you want to win the game. Oh, really? You have us 8-4. I am. You are a lot more optimistic than I am because I think I have us at best 6 wins. But you know, it is what it is. If you want to look back at the schedule, who do you see us beating to win those 8 games versus and those 4 losses? Because I can look at the 8 games. I can say, yeah, Hampton, maybe that's definitely a win. UConn, last time we played, we smoked them. That's probably a win. G Tech, not sure. You know, they got Franklin down there now, who's going to be their new head coach. We have a history of playing against him. UCLA, that's a toss up as well because last year we lost by 1 point to them. So I could see the first 4 games, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see it's going at worst 2-2, at best 3-1. Then we got Nebraska. That's last year we had them on the ropes and they somehow came back and won. But they lost their quarterback who transferred out. Ohio State, I see no shot in beating Ohio State. So that's possible. I'm gonna say 0-2 in those 2 games. Rutgers, homecoming. You gotta represent, you gotta step up homecoming, man. You gotta step up in homecoming. I think that's possibly a win against Rutgers. Illinois, not sure there. That's probably I can say it's a toss up. I can maybe say it's a home little league, so I can say I give us a win. Purdue in West Lafayette, I can see a win there. Wisconsin at home. We beat Wisconsin in Wisconsin last season, and they are playing on my birthday. So, actually, my birthday is next day, but the 14th, we'll celebrate the whole weekend. I can see us taking Wisconsin. USC, in California. Last time Maryland played USC, it was we won, but we're going to their house now, and then close the season at home and see against Penn State, which I might say could be another bludgeon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what? Your 8-4 is possible. I can see 8-4 possibly at best. At best 8-4, nothing more than that. And on that note, I will have to bid you guys adieu because I have to go slang some drinks for the unwashed masses as we enjoy some college basketball. Maryland Terrapins women's team tipped off at 3 p.m. So please tune in to support our lady Terrapins there. Oh, you think we upset Penn State? My goodness, you think we upset Virginia Tech and Penn State? I'm not sure Virginia Tech's gonna be upset, but Penn State would definitely be upset. Um, I don't know about the Penn State one, my friend, but I can see us beating Virginia Tech. And as I look back over the schedule, I definitely see a potential of 8 wins. Now, as you say it, I can see us winning 8 games, but I don't think I see us winning more than 8 games. But like I said, you can catch Maryland Terrapins Live on your favorite audio platform, including Apple, Amazon, Google, and Spotify, as the Voice of College Football is all new on Twitter. Join our ongoing conversation with you about the game we all love. There is no off season. We encourage you to interact with us on our conversation starters on Twitter. Like I said, This has been a fun show. I'm trying to get more content ready for you guys starting next week, as we do have spring practice starting on the 24th. Like I said, my tag team partner, Mark Gray, should be on site getting some of the best interviews. We will have those for you next week. Like I said, I am going to slang some drinks for our people out there in for March Madness, because it is the most fun week of the year. We had World Baseball Classic. It finished with a fantastic tournament as you go right into March Madness, and your boy is looking good on some of his upsets. And we're going to have a great time at the bar. Come if you're in the DMV area, come see me at Chadwick's tonight. I'll be there from 5:30 to close. Baseball season starts pretty soon. Follow me on for MLBBro.com as we cover some of the best baseball as well. And then lastly, like I said, Maryland Terrapins Live here every Friday. We will be bringing you the best in college football. And like I said, follow me, Charles Jonga at CHARLESNYONGA, all across the place in cyberspace, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, MySpace, Vines, all of those. Yeah, all those social media outfits, like I said. And on that note, I bid you guys deuces, and we'll see you next week.